Which occupations are being invited the most in the past 6 months, and what can you expect for the next 6 months? Hi, my name is Abby from Migration Centre of Australia, and today I'm going to talk about what occupations you should focus on if you're looking for permanent residency in Australia. Today we will talk about Australia's priority occupation list and which occupations you should focus on to try and increase your chance of an invitation based on the visas for subclass 189, 190 or 491, and we classify all these visas as General Skilled Migration, also abbreviated to GSM. Now, all these visas are independent pathways that you can try and get an invitation either from the federal government or the state government. The federal government invites you for the 189 visa, so your occupation needs to be on the medium to long-term strategic skill list, whereas the 491 or the 190 visas are state invitation based. Now 190, you can live anywhere in the state that invites you, and the 491 is specifically for the regional areas within your state. Based on the Ministerial Direction 105, there is a higher priority given to regional migration, health occupations, teaching occupations, and depending on the priority given by the state to certain occupations as well. Now let's talk about the data. A lot of this data is publicly available. So for example, if you look up the 189 invitation rounds, you can view the data for the 189 and the 491 invitation rounds, and you can actually view each round separately that's been invited within the last financial year, for example, or even before that period as well, you can view the data for. So let's analyze these trends. Based on the data released by the government, we can see certain trends that are arising on the past few rounds. And now I'm going to read these out to you. Let's talk about these. Now, ANZCO Major Group 25 and related support group continue to receive a high number of invitations. These include nurses, medical practitioners, psychologists, allied health support, and aged and disability care roles. So we can see which way the government's heading in terms of the health-related occupations. The next one is teaching and education occupations. This includes teachers at various levels, early childhood teachers, and education managers as well. And the next one is trade occupations, also being invited at really low points. Anything to do with construction trades, infrastructure, technical trades supporting housing and major projects are all invited because there's such a high demand in Australia for these occupations. And the next one is professional and technical occupations. This includes engineers, IT professionals, and other scientific and technical specialists. Now, if we look at the categories, the last two categories I mentioned, you'll generally require higher points. Now, if we look at the categories that I've talked about, the last category, for professionals, actually has much higher competition than the other three categories that are covered. So you have a much higher invitation of being invited as a teacher or anyone in the health sector or a trade occupation versus professional occupations. Now, this doesn't mean you will not be invited for professional occupations. We're just comparing different sectors. There are still many professional occupations that have low competition as well. Now, keep in mind that just because these invitations have happened in the past doesn't mean that your occupation won't be invited or that you shouldn't pursue something where you're highly competitive for. So for example, if you do sit on high points compared to the rest of your competition or close to the higher amount of points, then you should still go ahead and lodge your expression of interest and potentially get an invitation as well. Because each round they might prioritize different sectors based on what they've already invited within the last financial year or the current financial year in the last few rounds. Remember that point score is what you need to focus on. How do you compare to the rest of your competition? And remember that there's still a ceiling in terms of how many visas the government is looking to grant each year. Yes, skilled migration was prioritized this year, and we know that they're focusing on growing Australia's skill set. But remember that they'll only focus on granting a certain amount of visas. So if they reach the cap for the skilled visas that they've allocated, you might have to wait till the next financial year for those to be granted, which frequently happens and it carries on year to year, and they have to wait for the next financial year to grant the remainder of the visas. If you have any questions regarding the invitations, occupation selection, leave a comment below or contact us at migrationcenterofaustralia.com.au.